Alright, hello. This is going to be my presentation on Edmond Rostand, who was born in 1868 and died in 1918. I'm Riley Nyberg. He was born on April 1st, 1868, in Marseille, France, and to an upper middle class family. His father was an economist as well as his uncle. Um, he studied at college, I hope I can pronounce this right, Stanislas in Paris, France, and he was the writer of 9 plays and various volumes of poems. And above all else, even though his plays are the better known parts of his work, he considered himself personally to be a poet above all else. And unfortunately, he died at the age of 50 years old on December 2nd, 1918. So, Rostand's literature and works. He was the writer of various plays and poems, some of his better known being and once again, I hope I can pronounce these correctly, the Crayonna de Bergerac, Les Romanesques, excuse me, I'm sorry, Les Musardies, and this was his first volume of poems in the same year of his marriage in 1890, Les Gions in 1900, and La Princesse Leontienne. Rostand the poet. Above all else, he viewed himself as a poet, as I previously mentioned, and even so, he is better known for his plays. Most of his work fell into the genre of neo-romanticism, so they had a very romantic outlook. They involved a lot of romance, and they had this more cheery take on life. A lot of his plays focused on people or places that actually did exist, but added a sense of comedy and drama to it. So romance was a major theme in many of his works. Neo-Romanticism is defined as a movement that focused majorly on the expression of strong emotions, such as love, which can be seen in Rostand's works. So personal life, Rostand married the playwright, excuse my pronunciation again, Rosamond Etienne Girard in 1890, and together they had 2 children, Maurice and Jean. The sources that I used did not have a lot of information on either of them. I do know that Rosamond was a very esteemed playwright, and that it was through her that many of Rostand's plays reached the surface. And in 1902, and this isn't necessarily his personal life, but it felt like another fun fact to include, he was the youngest writer to be elected to the French Academy, which is a very prestigious and honorable role. So, some fun facts. Rostand was known to be a perfectionist, and he would edit his works over and over and over and over again, revise and revise and revise before he'd ever publish anything. And so it's said that his wife is the reason behind the publication of most of his works. That is because she would take the final drafts of his plays and bring them to light, because if it were up to him, they would never be ready. They would never be perfect enough. And another fun fact is that the first production of Rostand's most famous play, it received an ovation lasting almost an hour on its opening night. So it's a very well-known play and a very respected play. All right, so Rostand had many, many influences from the time he was a child. He was introduced to the literature of William Shakespeare, Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, excuse my pronunciation again. He also documented that that he was inspired by the writings of Alfred de Musset, Miguel de Cervantes, and Victor Hugo. So Rostand's death and legacy. So after struggling with his health for many years, he died of pneumonia on December 2nd, 1918. One of my sources contradicted 2 of the others, saying that he died as a victim of the Spanish flu. But either way, it's known widely that Rostand struggled with his health and especially his lungs for the majority of his life. He was 50 years old. And at that time, he was still writing his plays. And so he left behind 2 unfinished plays, and I don't believe they were ever published or made public. And they were Yorick and Les Petites Manées. Once again, excuse my pronunciation. I'm not very good with the French language. But he's most known now for his play Cyrano de Bergerac. I'm so sorry. Which is a play that I believe we'll be reading in this class. I look forward to reading that. And here's my works cited page. Thank you for listening.